A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Susan Nganga and our sign language interpreter tonight is Alan Kiama. We begin this bulletin. We are in a groundbreaking move that's already being described as historic. Maasai elders from Kajiado and Narok counties have publicly declared an end to female genital mutilation and child marriage. The announcement comes during the launch of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence and marks a major cultural shift in the fight to protect girls. Let's take a look.
And then followed by an elder from Uasin Gishu clan.
It was a powerful and emotional moment in Narok County, a moment that many say has been decades in the making. Maasai elders from Kajiado and Narok stood together and publicly declared an end to female genital mutilation and child marriage.
Is signing on the behalf of Ilkeokonyuke section. Pigieni makofi.
The announcement came at Suswa Girls Secondary School during the national launch of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And for the first time, the elders themselves say they are ready to lead the conversations that will hold their own communities accountable. Their plan: intergenerational dialogues, cultural reforms, and a stronger push for legal protection, all starting from within the community.
This has never happened. In fact, when you look into the history of the Maasai, this is the first time that the cultural leaders who are holding the black rungus has appeared in public to say in uniform something that has come from the government and NGOs and the communities that is not cultural. But
First Lady Rachel Ruto called the Elders' Declaration a national turning point. She noted that Kenya has made progress. FGM rates have dropped from 21% in 2014 to 15% in 2022. But she insisted that even this is not enough.
Yes, Kenya has made progress. Our national prevalence of FGM has declined from 21% in 2014 to 15% in 2022. This is encouraging. This is commendable, but this is not enough. In 2022 counties, the prevalence remains unacceptably high, high enough to cost girls their childhood, high enough to cost families their future, high enough to demand that we raise our voices, not tomorrow, not someday, but now.
The declaration itself was read by Daniel Ole Kiplosh, who represents 33 Mas-speaking sub-tribes across East Africa. 17 of them, almost half, have already signed the commitment.
one, commitment to end FGM. We pledge to end the practice of female genital mutilation within the Ma communities in Narok and Kajiado today. As cultural leaders, we commit to designing and promoting an authentic alternative rite of passage for girls that upholds our traditionals or our tradition without harm.
The event drew national and international leaders from Gender PS and Wangombe to county officials and development partners, all praising the courage of the elders.
Mwaka wa 2014, ukeketaji kule kwetu ilikuwa 76%. Mpaka wa leo sasa, ukeketaji imeteremka ikafika 22%. Kazi hii inawezekana.
And so, from a school compound in Suswa, a new chapter begins, one that many hope will echo far beyond Narok and Kajiado and give every Kenyan girl the chance to grow up safe, confident, and uncut. Susan Nganga, GBS News. Embattled Nyamira County Governor Amos Nyaribo has been shown the door today afternoon on grounds of gross misconduct, abuse of office, plus irregular appointments. The censure motion that was tabled by Bonya Matugta MCA Julius Matwere saw 23 out of 31 MCAs vote in favor for the motion. The results now mean that Nyamira governor will hope the Senate or the court rescues him from joining ex-Nairobi and Kiambu governors Mike Mbuvi Sonko and Ferdinand Waititu, who stand impeached to date. Matthew Perez has this story.
This county assembly debates and approves the removal of Honorable His Excellency Amos Gimomi Nyaribo, the governor of Nyamira County.
It is a tough Tuesday for embattled Nyamira County Governor Amos Nyaribo. Nyaribo was sent packing after 23 out of 31 members of the County Assembly of Nyamira voted to approve the motion against him. Nyaribo was accused of gross misconduct, abuse of office, and improper appointments, such as appointing Agricultural CEC Peris Nyaboke.
The governor of Nyamira counts from office by way of impeachment on the following grounds. 1. Gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya and other laws. And 2. Abuse of office.
The motion, sponsored by Bonya Matuta MCA Julius Matwere, saw one MCA formally abstain from the afternoon sitting, as it marked the third attempt by Nyamira County MCAs to remove Amos Nyaribo from office after two previous failed attempts.
By way of impeachment on the following grounds.
All attention now shifts to the Senate, which will determine whether Amos Nyaribo retains office or his political star dimmed forever, joining the likes of Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, aka Babayao, and Nairobi ex-Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. However, the other alternative is that Governor Nyaribo can as well head to the court to stop his ejection. Matthew Perez for GBS News.
Not a sad story. The Odinga family is mourning the death of Beryl Achieng Odinga, the youngest sibling in the prominent political family, who passed away while undergoing treatment at the famous Nairobi hospital. The news of her demise was announced by Ruth Odinga, who is the woman representative for Kisumu County, as well as the late opposition leader, the late Raila Odinga. This comes barely a month after the death of her brother Raila Odinga, Kenya's former Prime Minister, who died while undergoing treatment in India, despite being born into one of Kenya's most influential political families. Beryl Odinga maintained a relative private life, often choosing professional service over public political engagements. The world will remember her as the first black town clerk of Mutare in the third largest city in Zimbabwe, which was a groundbreaking appointment that cemented her reputation as a capable and reform-oriented administrator.
Nataka jamii ya Jaramogi wakuje hapa. Chukanya mondo. Hiyo ndio classmate ya Kalonzo.
Hello.
Beryl Achieng.
Hello. Okay, I normally don't delve into politics, indulge in politics. I'll talk in English a bit. Today is a big day for us, the Odingas, and I felt I must talk about my brother, Raila, Ngonga Molo Oburu. Amongst my colleagues here, everybody normally says they don't know me. They only know my sister Ruth, and my sister Akinyi. My name is Beryl Achie Odinga, and I'm proud to say I'm the only one amongst my siblings who attended school here in Kenya. Oburu encouraged me, though I was not good in mathematics. He told me mathematics was not all. And Oburu encouraged me to become a lawyer. He made me know that arts subjects are just as important as mathematics. That is what made me the lawyer that I am today. And to you, the students who are here, please know that even though you may not be good at sciences or mathematics, you are still considered. You can go on in nation building. Thank you so much, honorable governors who have come here to be with us, and all the politicians who have made it here. I want to say Steve Kalonzo Musyoka was my classmate, and he still continues to be a diplomat.
And for the GBS fraternity, we say our condolences to the family. And now, activists from Garissa are intensifying their calls for the government to fast-track their construction of a long-awaited court in the county, warning that the persistent absence of a fully functional judicial facility has severely undermined access to justice for thousands of residents. They argue that the delays have forced locals to travel long, costly distances to seek basic legal services, created unnecessary backlogs in cases, and left vulnerable groups without timely redress, urging authorities to prioritize the project as a matter of rights and dignity for the region. Election, the IEBC says it has fully completed preparation for Monday's by-election in Ugunja constituency, Malava, Kasipul, Baringo and Bere North, assuring voters of a smooth, transparent and well-coordinated exercise across all polling stations.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC officials have confirmed that all electoral materials, including ballot papers, KIMS kits, voter register and result declaration forms, have already been dispatched to the respective constituencies under tight security. The commission added that polling staff have undergone final training sessions, with the presiding officers and clerks instructed to adhere strictly to the electoral guidelines.
What we want to assure the country is that we want to give them a credible election, and each and every agent, each and every stakeholder has a role to play, including even the youth, the other stakeholders, the observers. They have a responsibility. The youth are the ones who are also going to conduct the elections at the polling stations. They are the ones who are going to give, they identify people, they are going to give ballot papers. They have a stake. The observers are there to ensure that the process actually is credible. It's actually given credence. Police officers are going to be there to make sure that there is security. So there's nothing to worry about. Okay. Everything is going to be okay.
IEBC further noted that security agencies have been deployed to all 5 areas to guarantee peace before, during and after voting. The commission says it's working closely with the local administrators, election observers and political agents to safeguard the integrity of the process, with citizens stating their expectations.
Hiyo uchaguzi ambayo tunaendea on 2027 on Thursday, watu watoke wote, kwa maana watu wao wanasemanga hii by election, watu wengi huwa waendi. Mimi naomba watu watoke hiyo tarehe, uende uchague mtu wako ambaye roho yako ilikuwa ameshaamua utamchagua yeye kama mbunge wako.
Security wise, vijana tukue chonjo na tukue macho. Tusikue watu wa kutumiwa, ati mwanasiasa amekupatia pesa kidogo, unataka kufanya mambo yako hapo ya ajabu, inaleta vifo na mambo vingine. Jambo ya tatu, waongozi wetu hapa wenye wanaweza wamesimama hawa, tunawaomba msilete au maguns wenye wanasumbuaka sisi akili.
The by-elections are expected to attract higher vote interest, with each constituency experiencing intense campaigns from leading political formations.
Hapa Baringo County about tuna uchaguzi wa senator. Nataka kusema mipangilio ya huo uchaguzi imeendelea vizuri. Tulianza na training ya presiding officers na deputy presiding officers, na jana ndio tulikamilisha training ya clerk, na wote wamechukua kiapo. Na saa hizi tunaendelea na kupanga mambo ya material yote imetoka Nairobi, iko hapa. Ile ilikuwa Nairobi, ingine ilikuwa tu hapa kwa warehouse ya Baringo, ndipo tunatoa tukipeleka kwa hizo constituencies. Unajua hapa tuna constituencies 6 ambazo zina hiyo uchaguzi. Kwa hivyo tuna tallying centers hizo tofauti, na tunatoa material hapa headquarter ya county tukipeleka kwa hizo counties.
The commission has urged candidates and supporters to maintain calm and respect the electoral code of conduct, emphasizing that the results will be transmitted promptly once polls close. IEBC concludes that it is fully ready to deliver credible by-elections, assuring Kenyans that all systems are in place for a free, fair and verifiable vote on Thursday. Davis Karani for GBS News.
And with that, it is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is always 21144. We'll be right back.
Today on the show, we're talking about navigating the long-distance relationship.
First of all, the world is now a global village thanks to technology and the internet.
When you talk about relationships, when you talk about love, when you talk about feelings, when you talk about emotions, all these things originate from the heart. I never saw in the Bible where someone was married and then the wife was living far away from them, and then there was something that they were building.
When it comes to relationships and probably communication, that distance is not a barrier.
Yeah.
But it is in communication, in effective communication. There is something that long-distance relationships lack, which is very essential for effective relationship building.
When you're cooking and the tap gets spoiled, do you try to repair it from that point, or you run to the main source and then you close it?
So today we are diving into a topic that has become rather popular right here in Kenya, the K-pop culture.
I would say K-pop invokes creativity, like mega creativity. I have friends who are creative and you'll see you've done that and they're like, yeah.
An ex told me that K-pop girls, K-pop stan girls, who's like, the men you stan look like women, and you aim to get a man that looks like that. So if you fail to find a man like that, because obviously you're in Kenya, you're not going to find a pretty man.
For me, it's like I have two personalities at this point. I have my normal life and I have my army life. Because when I get into my army life, it's just like a whole new world. A community full of people who don't judge, people who accept you.
Learning Korean from a Kenyan can sometimes mess you up because they pronounce words differently, and when you speak to a native, it's like, hold up, what did you say?
I've never met like a K-pop fan. I don't know why.
What am I?
No, it's like, not many people want to like express themselves like, I'm a K-pop fan. Unless you see them like wearing like a branded t-shirt or a branded hoodie, you realize that they're K-pop fans.
The main campaign of BTS is loving yourself, right? And K-pop has a lot of drawbacks. Just like anything else, too much of something is poisonous, yeah? And one of the drawbacks is it comes with beauty, because they have these absurd beauty standards. While BTS passed this message that you're supposed to love yourself, embrace yourself, you're just perfect the way you are. You know, you don't have to eat less to be beautiful. You're beautiful from the inside, right? Get into BTS, it's hard to come out.
Okay.
About being a miss or being a pageant queen, it is not just about wearing a crown or looking pretty on social media.
Yeah.
It is about how much you can impact the community. What can you do with the title you hold? Actually, a young model in the industry. I started modeling this year in school.
Oh.
actually, I used to go to International Youth Fellowship where we had a modeling class. I used to study fashion and design, and we had a modeling class. So I am high fashion trained.
Yeah.
On Instagram, kelly.omuhaya. On TikTok, Miss Omuhaya.
Now tell us about that moment when you had your name that you won Miss Kasarani 2025-2026.
What I would like to advise you is keep going. Keep going. Put God first. Be resilient. Be a go-getter. Find joy within yourself. Walk with pride. Chin up. Smile. You are a queen. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. That makes me always rise, knowing that I have something that is greater than what people can see.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin. And now, Kenya has once again taken center stage in the global push to safeguard learning in crisis-affected areas. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Ogamba today opened the 5th International Conference on the Safe Schools Declaration here in Nairobi, a gathering bringing together ministers, UN agencies, the African Union, diplomats and youth leaders to review a decade of progress in protecting education from the impact of conflict. CS Ogamba called for stronger implementation of the Safe Schools Declaration, saying the time has come to move from promises to concrete action. Let's take a listen.
Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Ogamba today officially opened the 5th International Conference on the Safe School Declaration at Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi, reaffirming Kenyans' commitment to safeguarding education in all circumstances. The conference, convened under the theme Safe Education for All, a decade of commitment, a call to action, has brought together ministers, representatives of the African Union and the United Nations, members of the diplomatic corps, global development partners, and youth champions to take stock of the SSD's 10-year journey.
In Kenya, we are working tirelessly to interpret the principles of the Safe Schools Declaration across our education and security frameworks. We recognize that insecurity disrupts learning, and therefore we are strengthening inter-ministerial coordination to reduce risks to learners, teachers, and the school's infrastructure.
Reflecting on progress made since the SSD's inception, the CS emphasized the need for implementation of a rhetoric. He noted that while significant strides have been made in advocacy and policy adoption, tangible protection measures must now take precedence.
In school operations, even during periods of localized instability, expanded psychological support in vulnerable regions, and supported teacher preparedness in crisis management. These efforts affirm our belief that learning must never be suspended, even in the face of adversity.
The CS also drew attention to persistent global challenges, noting that millions of children worldwide still traverse insecure environments to access education, while teachers in hardship areas continue to serve under difficult conditions. He urged delegates to adopt an action-oriented approach to the conference.
We are aware that across Africa and the world, too many children walk long distances through areas affected by insecurity. Too many teachers work in hardship conditions, and too many schools remain vulnerable to disruption or attack. These challenges are not merely statistics. They are stories of interrupted dreams. That's why this conference must be action-driven. The discussions held here must focus on strengthening national protection measures, fostering international support, enhancing accountability to violations, and increasing investment in education during crisis.
Ogamba expressed gratitude to Kenya's co-host and international partners, including Norway, Argentina, Spain, Nigeria, the African Union, UNICEF, UNESCO, GCPEA, civil society organizations, and youth advocates for their leadership and continued support. He also paid tribute to teachers working in hardship regions and the resilience of learners across the continent. Reporting for GBS News at 9, I am J.M. Wanjiku.
And now to other news. Pastoralist communities are sounding the alarm tonight over what they say are long delays in the registration of communal land. They warn that the stalled progress is leaving their grazing territories open to encroachment. Here is the full report.
Pastoralist communities are raising alarm over the slow and often stalled registration of communal land, warning that the prolonged delays are exposing their vast grazing territories to unchecked encroachment.
Averting conflicts in these areas is one way of putting the actual rights in the hands of the communities.
We seek on this day that going forward, community land should be resourced at the national level. We cannot be on so many years establishing our right from external support. We really want to see how much resources at the national level are given to community land register.
Don't appreciate mobility so much because of its contribution, and that's why I think the government has not appreciated the role of policy of rangeland management and pastoralism policy.
According to them, this has escalated resource conflicts and exploitation by influential individuals and private entities. They say the lack of formal documentation has left their ancestral lands vulnerable at a time when competition for water, pasture, and rangeland resources is intensifying, urging the government to fast-track the registration process to protect their cultural identity, economic survival, and long-lasting communal rights.
Involvement or a right to sit and share. Where they do this decision making, at least a woman should be there. Because a woman input goes to the table, does not go to the pubs, does not go to the groups of playing ajua.
We also insist on county spatial planning. Why we insist on county spatial planning, then we'll be able to safeguard also from where we sit. But then you have the voice from where you come from. Please, let's advance together.
Reporting for GBS TV, call me Duke Nyakwara.
President William Ruto has held a series of high-level bilateral talks on the sidelines of the 7th African Union-European Union Summit in Luanda, Angola. The discussions focused on health collaboration, regional security, economic cooperation, and strengthening Kenya's ties with key global partners, including the World Health Organization, Mozambique, and Finland. Pole Maina with the details.
President William Ruto continued Kenya's diplomatic engagement in Luanda, Angola, where the 7th African Union-European Union Summit entered its second day.
It is time. I hear many heads of state here and participants say we need to expedite. We need to get a fit-for-purpose organization. The reason why I asked my fellow heads of state in Resolution 920 to provide for an ad hoc committee is so that it is not the champion's position alone. That whatever reform that I am pushing is the collective, inclusive. So that the committee of the ad hoc committee is the Bureau of AU as is constituted.
On November 24th, the president met with Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom. The two leaders discussed stronger partnerships in public health, capacity building, and joint strategies to enhance the continent's healthcare systems. The president then held a bilateral meeting with Mozambique's President Daniel Chapo. Their discussions focused on trade, security cooperation, and enhancing regional integration within the East and South African corridor. President Ruto's diplomatic schedule
also included talks with Finland's Prime Minister Petteri Orpo. The meeting centered on expanding economic cooperation, investment opportunities, and enhancing educational and technological partnerships between Kenya and Finland. The bilateral talks highlight Kenya's growing role in shaping continental and global policies frameworks as the AU-EU summit continues in Luanda. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Maina.
And now to matters economy. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is pushing China to eliminate high tariffs on key Kenyan exports, including coffee, tea, avocados, mangoes, and livestock products, in what could become a historic shift for Kenya's agricultural trade. Speaking in Beijing during a high-level meeting with China's General Administration of Customs, the CS said Kenya has fulfilled nearly all technical requirements and now awaits China's final approvals to unlock long-delayed export pathways.
Agriculture CS Mutahi Kagwe is calling for an urgent review of China's duties on Kenyan farm produce tariffs. He says they are blocking Kenyan farmers from a market of more than 1 billion consumers.
For us, it's very important for two reasons. Number one, as you know, the balance of trade is very heavily skewed on the Chinese side, and you'd like to feel that we are also sending products to China.
Kenya wants zero duty on coffee, tea, avocados, and several horticultural products whose approvals have faced long delays in Beijing. Kagwe told Chinese customs officials that Kenya has already completed all major technical requirements. KEPHIS has cleared mangoes, dried chilies, green grams, and dried fruits, all now waiting China's final green light. He also pushed for the long pending approval of livestock exports, saying the entry of Kenyan meat into China would be a historic win for farmers. Kagwe says Kenya is ready and now expects China to move from commitments to action and open its market to more Kenyan products.
We are exporters of all these products that we are talking about. We export to many countries in the world. The whole of the Middle East is depending on our meat products, goats and so on. So we export to other countries these products. But I'm particularly happy to hear that the zero tariff idea, because for us it was ranging between 8 and 20%, some of it even higher than that. So it will make a big difference to the Kenyan product, and I have no doubt that you'll soon be drinking Kenya tea, even as the Chinese tea are there. We drink Chinese tea sometimes, so it is good that you get very good tea from Kenya, because a lot of it is going to the Middle East and other parts of Asia.
Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Maina.
And now for sports lovers, it's time for your most favorite segment of the bulletin, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And now we begin the sports news tonight with FIFA and Saudi Fund for Development have unveiled a landmark agreement that could reshape the sporting landscape in dozens of development countries. The two sides have signed a memorandum of understanding to unlock up to $1 billion in concessional loans, money dedicated to building and rehabilitating modern FIFA standard stadiums and the essential infrastructure that surrounds them. It's an investment designed not just to upgrade facilities but to energize communities, expand access to sport, and create new social and economic opportunities where they are needed most. FIFA says the partnership marks a major step towards making the game truly global, giving every nation a fairer chance to grow the sport, $1 billion commitment, and potentially $1 billion shift in the future of the world football.
Let me say that today is really a very important day for FIFA, for world football, because we signed a memorandum of understanding, a real partnership with the Saudi Fund for development. A partnership which will mean an investment of $1 billion to invest in stadium, in infrastructure, in football, actually, all over the world, but of course, in particular, in those countries where there is the biggest need. There are many countries today who don't have even one proper stadium, who cannot play their national team games at home, who don't have a venue which complies with the international standards, with the FIFA standards. We want to make sure that every country in the world has at least one stadium which corresponds to FIFA standards to play international games and to showcase the country all over the world. And this partnership is exactly what will make this happen.
And now to breaking developments at Chelsea, where one of the club's brightest talent is finally back on the training pitch. Attacking midfielder Cole Palmer has rejoined full team sessions after recovering from a freak accident at home that left him with a fractured small toe. It's another twist in what's been a frustrating season for the young star. Palmer has featured in only 3 Premier League matches so far after a groin injury sidelined him early in August. His return to training is welcome news for Chelsea, but it's not the immediate comeback supporters were hoping for. Chelsea coach Enzo Maresca confirmed Palmer will miss both upcoming home fixtures, today's high-stakes Champions League clash with Barcelona and Sunday's showdown against Arsenal.
We don't know when, but for sure will be soon. It's already on pitch. It's already touching the ball. So and the feeling is good. The last time I spoke about Cole was in the last press conference. And the last time I spoke with Cole was yesterday, just after the session, to ask how was his feeling. That, again, was good feeling. But I didn't ask him details about the injury at home.
And with that, you have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. My name is Susan Nganga, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Alan Kiama. Have a good night.
Everywhere, GBS.